Hey guys, Demo Man here with another video. Today we're talking about Star Citizen's most dangerous Dorito, as a request by you, the citizens. So today we're going to go over this ship, personal thoughts, a review, and something I've noticed that is frankly a little disappointing, but it's disappointing for all the right reasons. This is one hell of a ship. She's just being used wrongly. You heard right. It's a very misunderstood ship, and there's a reason for that. It's not necessarily the citizens who own them's fault. It's because it came out at a time where there wasn't much competition for it. This was the first big capital ship that dropped, apart from the 890, but this is a combat capital ship. So in the bridge, you'll have all the screens you really need. You got two main screens in front of you that can alternate between targets and power status. And what I would usually like to do is keep a target on the left and my power status on the right, so I can flip them on the fly. Now, as of right now, the Polaris can only have its weapons fired by someone at the torpedo station. Now, the pilot does have access to some missiles, but not the torpedoes, unfortunately. The bridge has an unparalleled view. It's got all the seats you'd expect: captain's chair, pilot, co-pilot, two engineering stations, a hollow globe just behind for good measure. So as you can see, this ship has an amazing field of vision for the pilot. It really gives you the tip of the spear feeling. It also has a decent sized cargo hold with two ramps, can hold a couple of tumbrel storms or other ground vehicles of the like. It also has a hangar that can hold a, I would say, medium ship, perhaps at a squeeze. But the main thing that this ship brings to the party is its weapons. Now, the thing with the Polaris is all of its turrets are what I would like to call offensive weapons. They pretty much all face forwards one way or the other. Even the rear-mounted missile turret can fire over the ship forward, so it's got as much forward-facing firepower as it could possibly imagine, right? So like everything has the ability to shoot forwards. The base loadout comes with some laser cannons that are absolute garbage. I'd recommend swapping those out to repeaters as soon as you can. It'll increase your DPS like tenfold, you know what I mean? You're going to have a lot more firepower. The side turrets have one of the, if not the coolest animations in my opinion. You sort of go down into this little like turret that then moves forwards, and these blast doors slide out the way, and then you're outside the ship pretty much. The turret is pretty effective. You know, it comes with repeaters, thank goodness, and has a really good field of fire, especially for facing forward. So yeah, that's a huge plus. Now, the missile turret can be accessed by one of the engineering stations just behind the pilot. That'll enable you to access the remote missile turret at the very back of the ship. It contains a decent amount of missiles, and you can lock things that are in front of your ship and fire clean over. Now, I'll get a crime stat here from as you can see, but that is my Polaris I'm shooting at. I'm not just shooting at some random stranger's Polaris, because people that shoot people's ships that are AFK, in my humble opinion, are like the lowest form of life in Star Citizen. Like pad rammer, kinda terrible. So yeah, as you can see there, the missile turrets are very effective on this ship. Well, you'd hope so, right? It's a bomber. Now, one of my favorite turrets in Star Citizen, bar none, are the ballistic kind. And second only to the one on the Idris, I'd have to say, is the ballistic Bespoke cannon that comes with the Polaris. It has a very impressive rate of fire, as you can see here. For something this size, it comes with good amount of ammo, a great rate of fire. I mean, you can really lay down the hurt, just constantly bang, 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 just like you really put down the shells. The one downside of this turret, though, is it's mounted on the underside of the Polaris. So in order for you to be able to get a proper bead on your target, the Polaris has to nose up slightly, which does put the top two turrets out of a firing arc if the target is in front of you. So you can't really get all of your weapons on target if you're too close. and that goes to the other weapon on the ship, which you're going to be wanting nice and far away for. Now, further away than you can see in this video, but this is for demonstration purposes, is the size 10 torpedoes. These things are lethal, you know what I mean? I mean, they're nasty, you know? I mean, point defense for now is pretty good at stopping most things, but some will slip through, as you can see in the next clip. I was dumbfiring them, and 4 of these suckers locked on to the other Polaris, and yeah, they managed to make it through the point defense cannons and completely destroy it. Like, these 4 torps just completely annihilated it, like blew it out the water, so to speak. But apart from that, I mean, the Polaris has amazing mobility. It's fast, it's relatively lightweight for a capital ship. Now, it has the mobility of a large ship, not a capital ship. It is fast. It is very maneuverable. Now, I'm on a moon here with very little gravity, right? The problem with the Polaris is it doesn't like 1G environments. Unlike even a moon, if you approach it at speed, the Polaris will not want to nose up. Like, the thrusters on the front half of the ship aren't that great. If you point the nose down at a planet and you boost towards it and you pull up like you would with an Idris, the Polaris will just like completely bottom out, right? Like, the nose is just gonna stay down, and when you eventually get the nose up, it's not gonna lift up. This thing's gonna keep falling because the thrusters on the underside of this ship are not really that powerful. This ship is more meant for going forwards at things, and so you gotta really plan out your attack. It's more of a U-boat though, really. It's sort of like a submarine. And me personally, how I would use this ship is to use it with the shields down, everything off apart from weapons, and sit and wait. Because that way, like, you have your radar and your weapon, so you lower your SIG as much as possible, and you park it relatively far away from where you know your target's going to be. Now, knowing where your target's going to be is half the battle of the Polaris. A lot of people right now are using this thing to face tank, and it's not designed for it. The only reason they're having any success right now is this thing is just a hit scan hell. It's got locations all over it that don't receive damage when hit. The hangar being one of these locations. If you shoot the hangar of the Polaris with even something like a size 10 railgun, it won't register. And there's a few locations around the Polaris that are currently that way. Now, in the future, that will not be the case. And with ballistic overpenetration, this thing does not want to be shot. It's got a lot of vital systems all crammed in very tight places. The engineering room on this ship is absolutely gorgeous. One of the coolest I've ever seen. But it's a little bit of a hazardous place to be when trying to, air quotes, repair the ship. As we know, we're moving away from total soft death and total annihilations of ships. When a ship enters soft death in the future, they plan to have it so that we can repair the ship and get it mobile and lethal again. And like something out of Star Trek. And the Polaris really will benefit from this more than any other ship. If it gets caught out and hit by a torpedo, it's not going to be game over if the crew could scramble together just to get it firing again. Now, the Polaris needs to use its agility and its mobility and its radar. Those are its 3 biggest strengths, right? You've got a lot of speed, you're highly maneuverable for a ship of your size, and you have a kick-ass radar. Utilize these things. Use terrain to your advantage. Asteroid belts, mining bases, planets with low gravity, right? And low density atmosphere. High traffic zones where you'll also have lots of other ships flying around. A good IR area that can hide your ship, like you can hide an Idris in one of these even. But these things are going to be the fundamentals of your gameplay. This is what's going to keep you alive and keep you succeeding in the verse. Now, the Polaris is not a patrol boat. It's not something you put out on patrol for long periods of time. Yeah, it can carry a fighter and it's got good cargo room, but it's just so damn expensive to run. I mean, the torpedoes themselves will break the bank once you've destroyed a ship. It almost makes it feel not worth it, you know what I mean? You have to have a good amount of capital behind you and a good amount of like resources. Maybe you're building your own torpedoes to be able to make this ship 100% effective. You can't be going out and thinking you can claim this ship and get all your torpedoes back. In the future, that's not how it's going to work at all. So you got to be selective with your targets. The Polaris is a thoroughbred hunter-killer. It's a U-boat, right? It's not a battleship. It's not a frigate. It's a U-boat. This thing is meant to go out, find something on the edge of its radar, whilst keeping its signature relatively low, like hunting down maybe a kraken, like a pirate with a huge bounty, and then completely decimating the target through overwhelming fields of fire. Just tons of missiles. You launch every missile, including your torpedoes, you're going to overwhelm the point defense system. That's what it's meant to do. It's not meant to go toe-to-toe with something like an Idris and then start trying to kill it with its turrets, right? It's just ridiculous. Alright, so now we're gonna crunch some numbers. Its length is 166 meters, beam 82 meters, height 35 meters, size is capital, no shit. And cargo capacity of 576 cargo units, a max SEM speed of 145, but you know the demo man way, you gotta push it, you know, like salt and pepper, and get a little faster speed out of that sucker. So afterburner speed, 940 ms. That's more like it. Minimum crew of 6. Now, I would say you could get away with maybe 4, as long as everyone knows where all the fuse boxes is, and everyone knows how to get a fire extinguisher going. Maximum crew of 12. That's what your life support will support. 1 radar, 4 computers. Pretty handy, I guess, you know, for flight blades or whatever you want to plug into this thing. Maybe have the rear remote turret as a point defense weapon, you know, like set it to target small fighters. I wouldn't do that. I'd use that firepower against a larger ship, me personally. 1 fuel intake, 1 fuel tank, 1 quantum drive, 1 quantum fuel tank, 1 jump module, 6 main thrusters, 10 retro thrusters, 18 maneuvering thrusters, 3 VTOL thrusters. Now, for something that has this many thrusters, it handles like a brick when it's in atmosphere and on a 1G planet. But I think those maneuvering thrusters are more tailored to getting this thing around, say, something like an asteroid belt at speed. So, as for weapons, the Polaris is no slouch. This thing carries 28 size 10 torpedoes that fire from 4, that's right, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 torpedo tubes. And they fire sequentially, which means you're not blowing your load all in one go, which is a problem when you're facing PDCs. PDCs will blow up 1 torpedo and take out the rest. If the torpedoes are staggered enough, 1 might just make it through, or 2, depending on how lucky you are and what you're targeting. It also has 2 bespoke front-mounted missile racks, which contain 8 size 3 missiles, which are pretty handy a piece. So that's 16 size 3 missiles, it's no joke. It has a rear remote turret that has 2 size 4 missile mounts, so that's 12 size 2 missiles. It's got 2 manned turrets on the top, both with 4 size 4s. It's got 2 manned side turrets with 4 size 3s, and 1 remote lower rear turret with 4 size 3s. It's a lot of DACA, if you ask me. Saving best for last, of course, in my opinion. I'm not much of a torpedo guy, I'm more of a cannon kind of guy. And, oh baby, it's the good one. It's dual size 6 bespoke ballistic cannon turrets. I love these things, man. They got the best rate of fire. You know, like, it's second only to the one that you can get with the Idris T kit, in my honest opinion. I love these things, man. Just like the sound they make, they rattle the whole sort of turret, the impacts they have on the target you're shooting at. You just want to kill everybody with these things, man. Or is that just me? I don't know. Maybe I'm just mad. But yeah, these are awesome. If you also like ballistic turrets, let me know how you feel when you blow someone away. So yeah, like Polaris does pack a substantial punch when it comes to its weapons. It's not screwing around. But like I said, this is a U-boat. If a fighter squadron comes after you, you're going to be able to defend yourself plenty. So the Polaris features everything a capital ship should have. It's got a decent engineering area, good cargo space for its class, of course. It's not a cargo hauler. It's got the ability to perform basic search and rescue. It has a really good medical facility on board. The brig has got 2 cells in it, so that's good. It also has, in my opinion, one of the coolest captain's quarters. It's like the envy of every Idris captain. No joke. Like, I look at the captain's quarters I've got on the Idris M, and I'm sort of like, oh man, this is like one step up from a reclaimer, even if that. And then you go on board the one on the Polaris, and you'll notice everything is just like, oh, I can put my decorative weapons on the wall here. Oh, I've got a personal armory. And I've got my own sort of storage lockers and all this other stuff. And my bed is behind a separate wall so that if the ship loses pressure, I'm still safe behind my door. It's just little features. And the Polaris has something that the other ships don't have. The other capital ships, especially Aegis, right? Aegis is awesome because Aegis has got armor, it's got guns, but it's got terrible living conditions. They're horrendous. I mean, they're Spartan, and they're very to the point. A lot like Anvil, they're very militaristic, sort of like dogged and focused. Like, you know, like you gotta get your head in the game to kill some people. But the Polaris feels like the Enterprise. It's a more human environment. You got tables, you got like areas to sit around, you got like a pool table, you got everything you could want, man. I mean, the Polaris is built more for crews that are going to sit in this thing in isolation pretty much and hunt down a target. Maybe they're hunting something like a Kraken and they can only track it by its last sig. A Kraken's going to leave one hell of a trail behind it. I mean, this thing's going to have an IR signature like nothing else. Like, it's a Drake ship. So the Kraken will announce its presence the second it enters an area. Like, the second it pops in, just with the amount of static coming off of this thing. And that is perfect for a Polaris. Now, the Polaris is designed to take out ships like that, right? The Kraken's most likely going to be used by pirates. You even have one called the Privateer, for goodness sake, right? The flying shop. But those things, like the Kraken, the nemesis of the Kraken is the Polaris. Because the Kraken can fight back if it knows where the target is, if it can see it. The Polaris is very stealthy. It's not your run out and punch you in the face kind of ship, right? So like a Kraken can choose not to fight an Idris. It can just simply spool up its drive and try and fly away. An Idris is more like a sledgehammer, right? So the Idris is a very defensive kind of ship. You can use it as a hunter-killer in certain circumstances, but it's a very defensive ship, right? It's a sledgehammer. The Polaris is like a sniper rifle. That's the best way I can put it, actually, is the Polaris kills you before you know you're dead. That's literally the best explanation I have. Like, it can fire its payload, but it doesn't need to stay there to make sure you're goner, right? It can stay there to watch the fireworks, right? And maybe finish off any of the survivors, but it's designed to kill you before you know you're dead. That's it. That's what the Polaris does, and it does it beautifully. The Polaris has class, right? And it's for a particular type of captain. It's not for the captain who wants to be there aboard the bridge as sparks are flying and ordering his guns to, like, you know, come on, man, give it everything you got, and all that sort of thing. The Polaris is more along the lines of, you know, no one whistle. It's like, you know, we want to keep our IR as low as possible. We can't let anyone know we're here. You know, like, radar operator, do you have the target? You know, torpedo room, do you have a solid lock? These are the questions that are going to be asked by that kind of captain. It's not going to be, you know what I mean, can we get more juice into the engines? I want to get closer so I can hit him with my sword, right? It's a scalpel. It's a very precision instrument, and this is why I say it's misunderstood. Because right now in the game, every Polaris captain I've run into, and you can see it in one of my videos where I had PvP in my Idris against the Polaris, he lost because he didn't stand a chance from the moment he started, because he went right up in my face and tried to shotgun me at first with his torpedoes. That didn't work, and the whole time he was just eating these size 10 railgun rounds. In the very end, he tried to flee, and his HP was so low that a size 3 missile claimed to kill. Now, this is something that I'm seeing a lot in the verse, is people using Polarises as shotguns. Now, right now, as of making this video, that'll work because the game's kind of broken when it comes to torpedoes. They don't function correctly. But next patch, you're going to have a minimum arming distance, and even then, it's still a bit dodgy because it goes from where your ship is, not from where the torpedo is. So if you chase your torpedo in, it's never going to arm. But in the future, it's from where you fired it. Now, that whole dynamic here is what makes the Polaris special, and the way people are using them, from what I've seen, it's you're ruining your ship. You know, it's like seeing someone make, right, the most beautiful sword. Like, it's amazing, right? This thing is razor sharp, and then they're just sort of using it to try and open boxes. It's like, no, no, don't do that. You know what I mean? That's not what it's used for. Don't be that guy. The Polaris is beautifully designed. It's got all of its weapons forward facing, so that way, if crap does hit the fan, you can get maybe one last volley of missiles off, and as you follow them in, you can unleash all unholy hell before powering down everything apart from your engines and your quantum drive and booking it out of there as fast as possible. Because if you get into a situation where you have to use your turrets on something that's capital class, it's already too late. It's time to run. It's time to leave. You're not going to win that fight. Just fly away, get that big old butt of that capital ship that you're fighting to slowly turn around, and with your superior speed and maneuverability, get enough distance so that weapons are no longer effective against you. Spin that Polaris around, get off radar, and just try again. Fire more torpedoes. It doesn't mean the fight's over. Just make them fight you on your terms. Something not many Polaris owners are doing. I guess it's because where the bridge maybe is located. Maybe it's a psychological thing, right? They're on the tip of the spear. They feel like they have to get closer or else their weapons won't be effective. When it's the complete opposite. They rely far too much on their turrets. Now, I know PDS, right, point defense systems, are frustrating, but I guarantee you, with the buff torpedoes they're getting, some will get through in the future. So put some faith in your weapons, right? Yeah, they're super expensive to use. So my advice for any Polaris captain out there today is start practicing with your Polaris like the game is fully released. Start stalking your prey, right? Start using asteroids like you've seen in this video. I've done some maneuvers and stuff to try and give you guys a rough idea. That wasn't easy. Doing it in third person is not fun. But yeah, so basically try and get an idea and a feel for your ship's capabilities. Now, me personally, in my org, I believe a captain should be the pilot of the ship. And the only reason I believe that is only the pilot really knows what the ship needs. The way it's handling, the way it's moving, you know what I mean? Like, you need more power to there, or you're trying to line up your weapons. And I believe the captain's seat is better suited for your radio operator, your comms guy, the dude who's basically keeping the whole ship tied together, or he's communicating with other ships, if you want that person in that position. But yeah, like, it's a gorgeous ship, and criminally underrated, terribly misused and abused, and horribly misunderstood. But yeah, like, for any of you who do own a Polaris and you use it correctly, please post a comment in the comments below. Share your glorious stories with the rest of us. Leave some advice for other Polaris captains, something perhaps you've learned, you know, maybe something you've learned not to do with it. Share your knowledge. That's kind of what these videos are about. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I hope this video comes out within a reasonable amount of time for my previous video. It's not easy making and editing these videos in such a short period of time, but I'm trying to keep a steady upload schedule. Now, if you would like to see more videos like this, what sort of ship would you like to see me do a video on next? Please leave it in the comments below. Have a dialogue, let's have a conversation. That's what it's all about. If you're looking for an organization that hunts pirates and kicks as much ass as it can, like Duke Nukem, you know, hail to the king, baby. If you're interested in that, then check out the description for my organization, the Death Corps Strike Unit, where we do missions all the time using the big capital ships and going to OLPs and all sorts of other activities. So yeah, thank you guys yet again for watching. Thank you to my loyal subscribers who have been with me for years. And yes, I am not dead if you're just discovering this video now. And yeah, thank you guys so much. And all the new subscribers, welcome aboard. You know, you guys are the first new subscribers in many years, so welcome. You better start believing in ghost stories. You're in one. Alright, take care, citizens. You know the drill. Fly safe.